Hello there, welcome back to Two Idiots. This time we're going to be talking about Godzilla vs Kong. Or, if you were thinking about the earlier version would be Kong vs Godzilla from Japan. But
Yes.
we're talking about the remake. But
Yeah,
if you look behind James, you see the original and some Godzilla comics. And we can show off our t-shirts here. So we squat a bit higher.
Team Godzilla. Team Godzilla.
Yeah, so if you've been looking at our Facebook pages, we've been at war for about a month and a half. Not really seriously at war, just much more like just having fun at each other's expense at war, really. It was nothing we're going to have any punch-ups about. But of course, we're doing this over the phone just in case James gets violent.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah, over the Kong vs Godzilla. Yeah, no. Basically, we're still in quarantine, lockdown, whatever that no one else ever seemed to follow. Because if you look at the photos, everyone's going to bars and not observing quarantine or anything. Well, we stick to the rules because we're good boys. Right. So we both saw this film. We both watched it with younger patrons who lived the monster fights. You watched it with your son, and I watched it with my nephew. So and my nephew really enjoyed it. What about your son?
His words after was that that's his new favourite movie.
All right, so I can take it he enjoyed it then.
He loved it.
Yeah. So what did you think?
I loved it. I loved it from the start. I don't care about the crappy acting for humans. I don't care about the story. I just loved the film. It was a nice sit back, watch two giant monsters kick the ever-loving shit out of each other.
Yep.
That's a Godzilla film. Like, there's people out there that keep complaining that the human parts in the movie is the worst. And I was like, have you ever watched a Godzilla movie? There's never been a Godzilla movie where the humans have been the best thing in it.
No, it doesn't happen.
Even if the Godzilla film has good human parts, there's no such thing.
Yeah, and basically, the best you can get in a Godzilla film is they're fine. Really, sometimes you get a nice little supporting part. Sometimes you get a few nice little supporting parts.
Yeah,
depends who directs it. But a lot of the time, you're going to get some stiff acting because they're playing parts that aren't really written to be acted very well because they're just playing the insert characters before the monsters arrive. So it's not really it's not really an actual showcase, really. You know, I don't think you can really do that well with a Godzilla movie. The Kong movies have done a bit better. They've had some decent acting, but still, you're not there for the acting even in those films. But they've got probably more better known actors in them because they're American. Meaning in the 76 version, Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange, and the Peter Jackson version, you had Adrian Brody and Jack Black and Naomi Watts. So you did have some good actors in them, but you're still looking, when you go to the movies looking for Kong, you know.
You don't care about the humans.
Yeah, especially not if you're watching King Kong Lives, where the humans scenes are so bad. So I watched all the Kong movies, and they lead up to this film, all of them, including King Kong Lives. You know, and King Kong Lives is quite a painful experience when it comes to dialogue scenes. Have you seen that one?
Nope, not at all.
No interest in seeing it?
I just never got around to it.
All right, it's
I've just never got around to it.
It's hilariously bad. The dialogue scenes are just atrocious.
The only Kong movies I've seen is the original, Peter Jackson and Skull Island.
You haven't seen the 76 version?
Nope.
Well, that's good as well. It's enjoyable.
I heard it's good. I just never got into it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the weakest of the four, I'd say, but there's still some nice moments in it. But you do have a guy in an ape suit, or Rick Baker in an ape suit, and some things are better than others. But it does feel like a bigger budget version of a Godzilla movie because this guy's in ape suits with big models all around him. You know, that it does feel like it does feel like Toho had planned on making it, even though they didn't.
Yeah.
So
Nothing could be as bad as Ape Suit in the original King Kong versus Godzilla, though.
oh, that was terrible, Ape Suit.
That was just a carpet. It was just a guy
Yeah.
wearing a carpet.
Have you seen King Kong Escapes? The sequel to that
That's
one.
with the robot, isn't it?
The what?
That
The
one with the
metal?
robot.
Yep.
I've seen clips of it, but I don't know if I've seen the full movie. It's been that long.
All right.
I might have seen it as a child on TNT. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, well, I watched it recently again. I'd already seen it once, but I've watched it again recently, and I really enjoyed it. It's utterly trashy, but really enjoyable. It's like it's epitome of the plot makes no sense, but you're just having fun watching the monsters. Plus, he's fighting Doctor Who, a character called Doctor Who, but they always pronounce it Doctor Who. And since you're a TARDIS behind you, it seems apt.
No, I just noticed that.
Yeah, so you thought of everything without knowing it.
That's
Yeah. So did you enjoy Godzilla vs Kong, the original, the first one?
yeah, I watched it a few weeks before this one came out, and I think I spoke to you about it. I think it was the American version I seen.
Yeah, because there's two versions.
I watched the American version. It is so cheesy and terrible. I loved it. I just had a good time watching it. Yeah. Especially all the stuff that you wouldn't get away with these days.
Yep. Yes. I've got both versions. I've got the Criterion Godzilla set where you get both versions on it. You get the American cut plus the Japanese cut. The Japanese cut's better. The Japanese cut's a bit longer and it flows better. Really, it's just better paced. Really, because the Toho, that tends to happen with the Toho films, that the Japanese cuts tends to be better than the American cut because they tend to know how to pace the fights out better, really. Yeah. But obviously, I'm a connoisseur of Godzilla. I've got all the Godzilla films on Blu-ray apart from one, which is other bit Biollante. So even though I'm a Team Kong T-shirt, I do have a Godzilla poster on my wall. So I'm a big Godzilla fan too. I mean, as long as they were fighting. What's that?
I grew up a Godzilla fan, as you know.
Yeah.
Ever since I found a VHS in an old computer shop.
Yep. But yeah, so what was your objection to Godzilla fighting King Kong to start with?
Kong shouldn't be that big.
Yeah.
Kong is tiny compared to Godzilla. They shouldn't have made him big. He's like the size of Godzilla's up to his ankle if they were to stick with the original sizes. So Godzilla would just stone on him. So they've had to make him big.
Yeah. This is my last 2 years, by the way, folks. Last 2 years I've had this complaint.
They had to give Godzilla, they had to give Kong some sort of advantage over Godzilla because Godzilla had a nuclear bomb go off in his face and all it did was make him stronger. It didn't even scar him.
Yeah, they gave Kong a club. But, yeah, that's what they gave him, a big club. That was it.
He needed a weapon.
What?
He needed a weapon to take on Godzilla up. Without that weapon, he was screwed.
Yeah, I like the fact it took place in Hong Kong, named after Kong.
Yes.
Even though it's not named after Kong. I just thought it'd be funny to see that, watch everyone go, oh, did you mean that?
I wish it was in Tokyo, personally.
I know, because it's not in Tokyo, I like having it in Hong Kong. But the thing is, I watched another film called The Mighty Peking Man, which also takes place in Hong Kong from the 70s. So it was kind of funny to watch two kaiju films in 1 week, watching Hong Kong get trashed. It was like, that was great. Mighty Peking Man, I would recommend to you as well because it's utterly trashy but really enjoyable, and it's a guys who made a lot of Hong Kong martial arts movie decided to do a kaiju movie, and they don't have the budget for it, so some of the effects are truly awful. But you've also got like rapist movie producers and stuff like that, and really weird moments. It's really insane. And they lost
in a kaiju movie.
What?
Weinstein was in a kaiju movie.
Yeah. I made that Weinstein joke when I was talking about those movies. It it was weird. The love scenes are hilariously weird. It's just one of those films that's just utter strangeness, all out weirdness. You have to see it. It's stunning in its oddity.
I'll look into it. I'll look
Yeah.
into it.
But yeah,
What was the opening scene to this movie again? Was it the Godzilla's attack? Wasn't it? It's been
What's
2
that?
weeks. It was the opening scene was Godzilla's attack, wasn't it?
Yeah, shouldn't I be able to see what I thought of the movie?
No, nobody cares about what you care.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it too. All that for that. Yeah, but yeah, I thought I actually realised as we're talking, I haven't actually said what I thought of it.
But people listen to you enough.
All right. Is that your theory?
No, I'm just busting your chops.
Yep. So, yeah, it started off with Kong, like, pretty much taking out. Or did it start off with Kong in the?
Oh, he was in the biodome, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then they had the attack. Because the weird thing is, in the soundtrack, track 1 is the attack, and track 2 is Kong the biodome. So they must have switched around at some point when they were making it. And I should say from now on, there will be spoilers.
Yes.
Who cares? There's nothing here that hasn't been spoiled by the trailer anyway, so...
If you're watching this, we've expected you to have seen the film already.
And if you haven't, it doesn't matter if you get spoiled, because it's not a plot film.
If you haven't seen it and you've watched up until this point, pause this YouTube video, go watch the movie and come back.
No, if you haven't seen it by this point, you watch this video first, and, then you say, I should have watched the film first. just bow to us. I mean, we've got the 8 look, so you're obviously Kong fans.
No,
yeah,
Godzilla.
Yeah. So basically, it starts off with Kong basically getting out, waking up, scratching his ass, and throwing a tree at the dome, and not been happy, been stuck there. Because of it, Kong and hiding from Godzilla, basically, at this point.
Yes.
They know these two monsters will fight, because at the end of the last movie, Godzilla made all the other Titans bow to him, basically. So they're all in hiding now from Godzilla, because he's the boss. So they're now under his control. So no one's seen any more of those Titans for the last few years.
Well, they were all killed.
No, then I said they were just in hiding.
If you watched in the intro, you see defeated. Godzilla's taking them out one by one.
I know, but I think he defeated them. I don't think he killed them. I think he just...
Kong's an exception. He
I don't think a lot of them bowed to Godzilla.
Yeah.
My interpretation is Godzilla just pretty much showed them who's boss, and they all pretty much went back to sleep. It was like some of them probably thought, I can take Godzilla, and he trashed them. But I think a lot of the ones you saw at the end of the last movie that very bowed to him, they probably are all just going back to sleep.
Rodan's back in the volcano.
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah. I think a lot of them, I think a couple of them he defeated afterwards, but I think stuff like Rodan and stuff are very bowed to him, so they are okay at Morpher and things. They just went back to hide. Because it's a bit of a waste of thinking to bring all these monsters up there and have them killed off between movies. Seems kind of stupid.
I was gutted there was no Mothra in this movie.
Yeah, everyone expected Mothra, but no. So Godzilla has shown himself to be the king of the monsters. No one boasts. No one will take him on. They're hiding Kong from because they know Kong will probably take him on and get his ass kicked, basically. So they're trying to keep him away from it. They're trying to hide Kong. And then basically what happens is Godzilla strikes Florida. Which have you seen it on this trailers? Kong vs Godzilla thing.
Yes.
Basically Godzilla being a dick, but at least he destroys Florida.
Only a small part of Florida, though.
I know, but still enough. But that was a really cool scene, basically. Just to utterly trash a place, just utterly destroy it. And the Japanese are probably happy with it. It's not Tokyo this time. It's Florida gets it. So basically, this is the start of the human characters. And the probably the worst subplot of the movie, which is the Team Godzilla.
Yes.
podcaster. I think that's the weakest one, really. I mean, I think the Team Kong characters are fine, but the Team Godzilla characters were kind of annoying. Really.
There was no real need for them to be there, other
Yeah,
than exposition.
that was the problem. Is there have been scenes, and you're like, okay, you assume, okay, I'm going through these scenes for a reason, and then you realise at the end of the film there was no reason. You didn't need it. It's just like it's a waste of time. You could have been done without them. I mean, the good actors playing the parts, they just did nothing to do. It's like, let's pick up a paycheck, so that was fine. It's basically the girl from the last one, the kid from Deadpool 2, and you get the conspiracy guy who's been in a ton of things. So you'll recognise the faces of all of them, but they don't have anything to do. It's just
the guy for Deadpool 2, he just seems like a poor man's attempt at the best friend in Tom Holland's Spider-Man films.
Yeah, pretty much feel that way, but they didn't give any scenes.
Aye.
It's like they
went for that kind of character, but didn't really flesh him out.
No, it was just like he's trying to be funny in about 2 seconds, and then we'll move on because no one cares because it's a Godzilla vs Kong movie. So shut it. That was fine, but you got to see them do the thing, but nothing there actually meant anything.
Aye.
But the other side of it was Team Godzilla. They actually had a lot to do. They actually had scenes. They were actually integral to the plot. So you had Alexander Skarsgård as the guy who is investigating Hollow Earth theory, who gets brought in by our villain, who's a mysterious billionaire guy who wants to investigate the Hollow Earth theory, and there's all this technology. And he brings Rebecca Hall into it, and she's the person who can speak to Kong. And her and this little girl, who's the last of that tribe you saw in Skull Island, they've all died from that disaster. And it's kind of hard to try and remember all this stuff because I was more interested in monster fights.
Kurosawa's son, but they never mention the whole film that it's his son.
What's that?
Kurosawa's son, but they never mention it's his son.
I know.
Working with villains.
I know, it's weird. Yeah, his son doesn't last very long.
No. He barely speaks. But it would have been good if they brought up the fact that he's working with the bad guy because his dad died because of Godzilla.
I know, but also I think kind of realised there was so little for the character they could just ignore the fact he was his son. Just say he was a bad son.
He didn't need to be the son.
I know, it was just a waste of time. But anyway, the Team Godzilla, so they're bringing these people together and they're going to take Godzilla to this area that leads to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
But no one's ever managed to get through it. But they think because they think the Titans came from there, because that's where they've been hiding for thousands of years.
Yeah.
They want to take Kong there and think Kong can lead them through all the problems getting into Hollow Earth and take them to the Hollow Earth. So that's the Team Kong plot, and basically it's a King Kong movie with Godzilla as a villain. That's basically the film.
Yeah.
Essentially. But those scenes were a lot better because the characters were quieter. They didn't say half as much. We weren't yabbing on every 2 seconds. They had atmosphere, and they remembered that Kong has a dignity, so they just had all their characters reacting to Kong, so it all worked really well. Those are the characters I wouldn't mind seeing back in another movie because it was like these characters worked fine.
Yeah.
You could put them in the next one with Kong quite easily.
Easily did.
Yeah, so I mean, those are the characters you want to see back. But, so basically, the first big monster fight comes pretty quickly. I mean,
surprisingly quick.
Because it's the kind of scene where they're going off on an adventure. You're starting to do the character scene, so you're thinking, okay, we are well before we get a monster fight. Then then Godzilla shows up pretty quickly and fights Kong on the ships. And now Godzilla's because Godzilla's a lizard, he's an advantage of the water. He exists in the water. He knows how to do the water. And Kong's out of his depth. And Kong's also locked up at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So Kong has a lot of disadvantages. But that leads to probably my favourite fight, really.
It was a real thing. But his biggest disadvantage, taking on Godzilla.
Yeah, it's a problem. But the thing is, they actually do have the thing is Kong's the underdog. He's always the underdog. He's basically trying to survive.
Yeah. He's
That's
not. He just wants to go somewhere.
yeah. He doesn't want to fight. He's not really. He doesn't really need to fight Godzilla. He's not dying to fight Godzilla. He's like, we can get along. We just stay away from each other. They're terrified of fighting Godzilla, but he's not actually that bothered. He just wants to go and do his thing. He's basically an old hippie.
Aye.
You know.
He's done everything like us.
Yeah, he does. He's basically he cannot be bothered with any of this nonsense. And of course, Godzilla attacks him, and Godzilla attacks taking out the ships one after another. And Godzilla, I mean, for a while, everyone thought this was going to be Mechagodzilla.
I was one of them.
Yeah, and I thought that as well. And it turns out, no, it's Godzilla. Godzilla's just been a dick.
He's just been a dick, but he's also marking his territory.
I know, but he's he's doing to Kong what he did to the other Titans you saw in the title track thing is like either bow to him or you have to fight him.
Or die.
Well, basically, if you fight him, you're going to die.
Aye.
Yeah, the Titans, I mean, we're both different opinions, but I think the Titans who were smart would bow to him and just said, okay, fine. I don't want to fight you. You're the boss, fine. And some of them were stupid enough to try and fight him.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I really liked in the last movie was how Rodan was just a little sneaky bastard, because after he realised his guy had lost, he just bowed to Godzilla and was like, okay, you're the king, fine.
He's basically Starscream for the Transformers movies.
He'll go with whoever's winning. That's it. Yeah. It'd be nice to see Rodan back, and you said Marshall as well. But that was a very away advantage from what we're getting. So we got that fight, and there was some great stuff with the boats flipping over and Kong sort of stuck to it, and
have to get released.
Yeah, I know, and Kong's just like roaring down at the water and jumping from boat to boat finally, and all those boats are getting trashed. And then he sees Godzilla, he smacks him right in the face. Like
Godzilla
instantly.
smacks him right back with a backhander.
I know, but it was just funny how Kong just said, screw you, I'm punching straight away.
I'm not even giving you a chance to roar.
Yeah. You're going down. But this is, it showed the setup for the film as Kong's underdog and Godzilla's not. Godzilla's the big bully. And it's a lot of fun, because you actually can see Godzilla being the heel in this movie. He's the heel. And basically Kong's a babyface in wrestling terms.
Yes.
And they actually play it in wrestling terms. But it also means, like, in the last two Godzilla movies, Godzilla's a good guy. And this time he gets to be the villain. And it's a lot of fun watching Godzilla just be horrible to people.
It's on you.
Yeah, he trashes every boat that gets in his way. If you're anybody in Godzilla's way to get into Kong, you are going to get beaten.
Pipe bomb.
Yeah, it basically, when I say beaten, I mean you get swished by him as if you're an ant and you're dead. And then eventually they play dead. That's how they get away. They play dead, and Godzilla falls for it, which is pretty silly because Godzilla's a predator, but it gets you to the next scene. So who cares? I didn't really care as long as it was like, okay, this is us pausing the fight for a little bit. Because it's kind of the appetizer for the big fight at the end, but it's kind of like, we're giving you a bit of time. So then we take you to Antarctica with Kong, which is a nice little throwback to King Kong Escapes, which also took place in Antarctica.
And also the King Kong versus Godzilla, where Kong's getting carried by, instead of balloons, but helicopters this time.
Yeah.
And it's released the same way.
Also, Godzilla was nice at the beginning of that movie as well. So he escaped from ice at the beginning of the first one. So there we go. So basically, Kong goes through this portal, through this kind of cave thing, which they managed to talk him into, but telling him maybe there's some of his people down there. So he doesn't want to go to start with, and then he goes down, and we follow Kong into the Hollow Earth, and this is probably the best sequence that isn't a fight in the film. because the Hollow Earth is really cool. The Hollow Earth's basically like two layers of land. So where the sky should be, there's land. So you look up, you see another landscape basically.
I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's like they're definitely going to put that in a sequel because this film's done really well, so they're probably going to be in another one. So because they were thinking the series was over after this one, and then this one just really took off. What's that?
I don't see it being over. I can see more coming.
Yeah, because I think the last Godzilla film didn't do as well as they thought, but this one brought it all the way back again because people just wanted to see this. So you're going to see a lot more monster fights between a bunch of big monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to cut down the human side and go, they want the monster fights. That's the one. Right. And so basically, the Hollow Earth's great. You've got some monsters in there, but it's really Kong finding this old society and just looking through it all. So it's sort of like a lot of the scenes you saw in the original King Kong, where you see the old, where Kong's family lived and stuff like that. And it's like you're seeing Kong's environment, really. So that was a really terrific sequence. It lasts for a while. There's a really cool bit where there's these rocks in the middle of the two landscapes. The Kong's jumping from one to the other, and actually going from the bottom to the top, and it's really cool. All this stuff, and the humans have got these flying things as well.
Oh, heaves.
Yeah, so they're all doing their show-offy technology, but it's beautiful stuff, and it's really this film is pure pulp.
Yeah,
it's really pure pulp. There's no apologies. It's pulp. It's like because they know basically you don't care about the dialogue scenes. You don't care at all. And this film goes by the assumption you don't care. Mm-hmm. It's like this dialogue scene's lasted for 20 seconds. This is too long for a dialogue scene. We have a monster fight in here somewhere. That's the attitude that this film seems to have.
You get a monster fight pretty quickly in the Hollow Earth with the war bats.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but it's like I think you have 1 or 2 exposition scenes early for each team, and then every other scene you have with them lasts about 20 seconds. Yeah. Really, there's nothing longer than that. It doesn't feel that way anyway. It feels like it's going pretty fast usually.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they know the audience is getting impatient after that first fight. It's like they want to just keep going now. They don't want to stop for anything. But yeah, the War Bats is really cool, but it's kind of shown Kong. I think it's a case of Kong gets his ass kicked, so we're going to show off that he actually can fight.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say Kong's the most brilliant tactical fighter. He hasn't really fought much. He just uses dumb luck and brutality. Just, he's a big monkey. He throws things at people. That's it.
I'm surprised they didn't start chucking rocks in this one.
Yeah, well, he was chucking rocks in the original. The original. But this one, not so much. I think he did a lot of stuff like that, and was it Skull Island he was throwing rocks and things at those creatures. Oh yeah, the creatures from Skull Island come back. They come back as cannon fodder for the big villain of the film, which we'll get to. But actually, if we get to it now, Mechagodzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah, that's why Godzilla attacked Florida, because that's where Mechagodzilla was getting developed, and he knew there was another predator that he had to stomp down on so that no one took his title. So he.
Well, did they not use the skull of Ghidorah? So I think it was a sense in the.
Yeah. He was sensing
Ghidorah,
whatever. He was sensing Ghidorah, but he also knew there was something wasn't quite right. And there was another monster there he had to eat. Because Godzilla got 6 senses. If there's a threat to his domain, he has to squash it.
Yes.
So he comes to blow stuff up. But now he's got Mechagodzilla. And Mechagodzilla, you first see him destroy those skull monsters from Kong Skull Island to show off his power. And this is where the Team Godzilla finally reappear, because they keep on putting them in the film, but it's the bits that slow the film down, because it's like, you have to remind people they're here. But the fact they have something to do now for 2 seconds, which is they get Mechagodzilla explained to them. That's it. And the idea that, yeah, they're using they're using King Ghidorah's skulls, the two different skulls. One's in the Mechagodzilla and one's in the control room. They're using it psychic links to control Mechagodzilla. Of course, if you've seen any Godzilla movie, you know that Mechagodzilla doesn't follow rules and he'll break from that programming for about 2 seconds, which he does, and he kills the villains instantly. Which is great fun because the guy's doing his big bad guy speech, and he turns around to see Mechagodzilla looking at him, and just Mechagodzilla just swats him away like a bug. It's really great fun. So basically, we're now going to the finale, which has 2 giant fights. We have, first of all, we have probably the thing we've been waiting for. Yep. Basically in Hong Kong, where basically Kong is got his club now, and he's got on the club is this plate, which is basically it's sort of like a plate of an old Godzilla, which he can use to actually smack Godzilla and make an impact. So basically, Kong wins round 2 by using this thing. But he's also running like hell most of the time between buildings and basically trying to make sure that Godzilla can't see him, so he can get in and do like counterattacks and just smack him about. Yeah, he's basically he's almost like saying to Godzilla, "Look, you can't push me about completely. I will bruise you." That's as far as he gets. And that's as far as Kong gets to beating Godzilla, as he hits him a bit and tells him, like, enough of your shit. And then, of course, Godzilla completely knows all that. Godzilla gets up and decides, okay, I better take this guy seriously now, and proceeds to beat the living shit out of him.
Scratching fuck out him, crushing his chest.
I know, he really goes for it. It's like, he finally loses his temper. I know. I mean, Godzilla loses his temper. There's no way, right? He loses it with Kong in a way that he probably hasn't lost it with anybody in these movies yet.
And right before he kills Kong, he gives him a chance to bow, and Kong does it.
Yep. So
Godzilla won, bitch.
But there is a but here.
Godzilla won.
He won the bat, but not the war.
He won completely.
Nope.
He won completely.
Yeah. So I should say before we go back to this, this shows my point a bit earlier on. We're saying all these creatures fought Godzilla. He fought them till they bowed to him, and then they could go and do their thing as long as they knew who was boss. So Kong bows to him, but it's kind of a grudging bow. It's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like
he's about to die.
He's about to die. Yeah, but the thing is, it took Godzilla that much to get a bow out of him. Godzilla really had to go full on. So
Godzilla won.
We'll see. We'll get to the end, because as they have to try at this point, Mechagodzilla shows up and proceeds to kick the shit out of Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bet Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla.
Oh, Mechagodzilla won in that fight.
Yeah, he beat him, and at this point, the Team Kong give King Kong a
defib.
Basically, which came from the original Godzilla vs Kong, because in the original Kong got his energy back from electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So they're being loyal to the original film here.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make like a sense, but it works for the film. It's a spinach moment.
Sense in the original.
What?
It makes more sense than the original.
Oh yeah. The thing is, this is basically Popeye getting spinach.
Mm.
He's after his little defib. He's up. He's got his club, and he goes and kicks the crap out of Mechagodzilla. Like, Godzilla gives him a charge onto the plate of it, and then he uses that to absolutely trash Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like, brutally tears him apart limb from limb, because Mechagodzilla can do a lot of things because he's made up of a lot of metal and a lot of parts. He's got joints, where this club can really do damage to. And he basically rips them apart as if we're in like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sight to behold. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
So basically, so Godzilla beat Kong, then Godzilla get beaten by Mechagodzilla, and then Kong beat Mechagodzilla.
With help from Godzilla.
But minor. So Kong lost the battle but won the war. Godzilla won the battle then lost the war. Is that right? I think I've said this wrong. So Godzilla won the battle with Kong, but he lost the war basically until Kong helped him out. But Kong lost the battle but then won the war.
It's
So
still
it's a draw.
Godzilla. That Mechagodzilla is a bonus fight. It's got nothing to do with Godzilla versus Kong. When it comes to Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla won.
It's a draw.
Godzilla won. It's unanimous.
Godzilla would have died if it wasn't for Kong.
Kong would have died if it wasn't for the humans.
Yeah, but the humans helped him out because like Kong's got personality. But he survived. He came back up, had his little electricity charge, and he kicked the crap out of Mechagodzilla.
Then they were about to square off again, and Kong's like that. Puts his axe down, essentially bows to him again.
No, Kong just more or less says, like, "Are we really going to do this again?" And Godzilla's like, "Nah."
No.
They're both. It's like a mutual thing. It's like, we're not going to fight this thing. Godzilla puts the thing down so he's not a threat. That's as far as he goes. And it's like Godzilla is like, okay, we're not going to fight again. We're not going to do another bow thing. It's fine. You made your point.
No, that was Kong bowing to Godzilla.
No, it was him putting it down and saying, we're not going to fight again. I'm not going to threaten you with this club again. And then Kong and Godzilla's almost like, okay. And he wanders off. It's like, okay, I did what I needed to do, but I still think I got my ass kicked a little bit.
No by Kong.
But he still lost. Until Kong helped. Kong came back, was a champion at the end because he is basically right. Godzilla got the title, then he lost the title to Mechagodzilla, and then Mechagodzilla lost the title to Kong.
Nope.
Yep.
It wasn't a match. Mechagodzilla just jumped in after the match.
He still made it a match. It was still a title match. He made a title match by his ferocity. The thing is, if it's a title match because
bowed for the second time.
He didn't bow the second time.
He did.
He did that.
It's unanimous.
No, it's not.
It really is.
Kong won.
Godzilla
Team Kong. Kong was the one that finished the villain off. Kong finished the villain off.
You'll never change my mind. Godzilla won.
Kong won. Kong won. See, this is going to go on for another 2 years, by the way, until the next film.
What?
This will go until the next film comes out.
Basically.
Yeah.
The three fights that Godzilla and Kong had, Godzilla won 2 of them. That's 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, and then Kong won the last big fight against Mechagodzilla, which made it.
Not against Godzilla, that's a separate fight.
Godzilla had already fallen. Godzilla had fallen. He was
between Godzilla and Kong, just those 2. Godzilla wins.
Nope. Kong saved it. Godzilla was Mechagodzilla's little bitch.
Guarantee you're going to have hundreds of comments agreeing with me in your video. I guarantee it.
I don't care. I'm just trolling you anyway. I don't care.
And it's working. It's working. I know you're trolling.
The thing is, you know that I'm a big Godzilla fan too, so you know it's like I don't care. I'm just enjoying being a dick, basically.
I know you, and it's working. I'm getting triggered.
Yeah, I know. I mean, whoever wins, I win. Really.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So basically, that was just an awesome. The last third of that movie is just full on. And I'm actually watching a projector as well, which made it even better when you've just seen them go through the buildings and just trashed it. You've seen it in a bigger screen, so it actually really delivered. And of course, I pre-ordered the 4K
Steelbook.
Yes,
I may do the same with my birthday money tomorrow.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Is I don't usually order steelbooks because I'm not really into them, but this one looked beautiful, and it was like, okay, this might be the exception, but Yeah, that final third. It's almost like a case of they weren't coming back to the humans unless they needed the humans for something.
Yeah.
In this one, it wasn't like the last one where there was way too much coming back to humans when you really wanted to see the monsters beat the crap out of each other, and you had to stop it for. It's almost like they saw the last one and thought, okay, this we've lost 20 minutes of this film, and we just cut some of these scenes out. And this one they did that and just said, okay, let's cut that stuff out, and it worked a lot better.
Yeah,
because you kind of lost the scenes you didn't really care about, and you got to see all the villains die in really funny ways. Like the daughter of the main villain gets crushed in Kong's hand, as if he's just like crushed in like a beer can or something. He didn't care. He just looked at it and thought, "Yeah, I hate you." That's it.
Yeah,
I really hate. Yeah, she just shock smacked his pals on the boat, and he was watching. And then later on, when he had him in his hand, he went. So basically, do not talk smack to Kong's pals. He will remember. Yeah, Godzilla won't give a shit, but Kong will. Kong will kill you.
You know who was the most wasted character in this movie? The main actor from the last movie. I can't mind his name. I think the character's name was Mark. He's in like 2 scenes. The entire movie.
I think he was just in it for a short. I mean, his name wasn't high in credits. I mean, I think they had him in for a short time. I don't think it was a starring part anyway.
It just seems weird that they finally have carrying over characters in a Godzilla movie, because that rarely happens. That somebody carries over and they barely use them.
I know, but then again, they had the daughter in it a lot more, and you wish you'd had her a lot less. And it wasn't the fault of the actress; it was the fault of the writing. It was just like they gave her nothing to do. And the stuff they gave her to do was just nonsense. So, I mean, the worst part of this film really is the Team Godzilla, because they give them nothing. Because, I mean, you can see the point of the Team Kong people. They make sense within the story, and it's fine watching them because they're within the context of the story. They have stuff to do. They're all doing it well, and it's like they're kind of the good. We were talking about earlier on the Godzilla films. You tend to have some ones are okay and some ones are terrible. The Team Kong characters are kind of the good ones.
The entire film.
What?
They only contribute one thing in the entire film.
What, Team Godzilla?
That's all. They only do one thing.
Name Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, they temporarily pause Mechagodzilla from stopping him from killing Kong. That's all they do.
Yeah, for 2 seconds, and it's like, that's it.
They could take them out of the movie and everything would happen that already happened, except Kong would get killed after Mechagodzilla. It's the only difference it would be.
And even then, you could have found another way of doing that.
They made no contribution to the film.
I know. Yeah, feel no stuff that was already in there that they've shot that they cut out because it was boring. And it was like, no, this doesn't work. We'll cut that bit out. Used to have that feel, and there was a lot of stuff there that was cut. That was a bit, they cut the film out because there was too much fat there, and it was like, good, because even the stuff that was there was too much of it. We could have lost another 5 minutes from them, or the whole plot.
Any deleted scenes on the Blu-ray?
Yeah, probably more of their scenes, because the Team Kong stuff, they had a lot more scenes. Even though they were short scenes, they had impact because they had scenes at the point. Yeah. They went interacting with Kong, who was more emotional. Godzilla doesn't do much. Godzilla just pretty much is Undertaker, basically.
Aye.
That's what he is.
The entire film.
Yeah. That's all he is. He doesn't emote or anything. He is Undertaker, basically. Mm-hmm. And it works. You know.
It really does.
Yeah. And it's so how would you rate this to the Godzilla film you've seen?
Well, out of 10, I would give this a solid 9.
I would give it like a 7 or an 8, actually, because I think the human scenes do drag it down for me.
The reason I'm rating it so high is because I know I just ignore those scenes when I'm watching it.
Yeah, I know.
Had fun watching it. I loved it. I loved it. I'm very tempted to rewatch it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I really enjoyed it. I just those scenes dragged me down. It was really just one set of scenes, really. Yeah. But I can't ignore it. But I still really enjoyed it. I mean, it's I liked it more than I liked it more than King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I think King of the Monsters is probably the weakest of the four for me.
I would still say Kong's the weakest for me, but
Yeah, you're not a Kong fan compared to me.
well, I love Kong, but it's just that because Skull Island took a lot of liberties with the Kong character, it always slightly bugged me.
Yeah, because James loves, I think, characters being loyal, and I don't care. That's a big difference between us. But yeah, I really liked Skull Island. I adored the 2014 Godzilla. Thought that was just great. But the thing when I say King of the Monsters is probably my least of the films, I still really like it. I just know there's flaws. Those human scenes just go on way too long. But the scenes of monsters are great.
Yeah, King Ghidorah, isn't it?
I know. And this one, I just think the human scenes are cut down more, and the Hollow Earth and the Godzilla vs Kong stuff is so good that it takes up a few notches. You know, but maybe you could write the plot down the back of an envelope quite easily.
It's just a shame that because of the pandemic, we couldn't go see it in the cinema, because I think this would have been fantastic in 3D.
Yeah, but some of us have a projector, so it's okay for some of us.
Imagine those the whole Hong Kong scene in 3D with all the neon. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But the neon looked really. I mean, the neon reminds you a lot of Pacific Rim.
It did.
It's like that's what they need to do in the next movie: Pacific Rim meets Kong meets Godzilla.
I'd pay money to see that.
They bring back the original characters from the first one, not the shitty sequel. Let's ignore the sequel altogether. It did not happen.
Or if we can't get Pacific Rim, Godzilla versus Jet Jaguar. I'd watch that.
Yeah. I don't think you can really do Pacific Rim though, because Pacific Rim takes place in another universe. It's its own set of rules and history. I think they've.
In Pacific Rim, you've got that dimension portal that could end up in Godzilla's world.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, no. So that's what it needs now: a giant, the robots, and the battles as well. That'd be pretty cool. But I think they need to bring some aliens into it, because they used to have a lot of aliens in Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Need to bring some aliens. I mean, since they were using the King Ghidorah's brain, they could just say that he sent messages up into the sky to bring more aliens down, and you were aliens, because that's what Godzilla needs to fight aliens now.
Meet an alien. Bring in Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
Bring in Destroyer.
Destroyer's the one you need. Destroyer, Smog Monster.
Yeah.
Bring a Smog Monster or Biollante in.
Biolante's a good one.
Yeah.
So
the
many
Smog Monster could really damage that Godzilla, because it's just something you can't actually fight. It's goo. It'd really mess him up. It'd be Jet Jaguar is probably not so good, but the monster, the Gigan would be good.
Yeah.
There's lots of good monsters they can have.
Gigan would be good. Is that a good alien one? Gigan.
I just said Gigan, yeah.
I was agreeing with you.
All right, I thought you were just saying as if it was news. Like, I just said that. Bastard. You've got they should bring there's a sea monster they had in one of the movies. One of the other Godzilla movies would be pretty cool as well. Since Godzilla is in the water, he doesn't really have many fights in the water, so it'd be quite cool to fight someone in the water. This is just now referencing all the villains they had in the Godzilla movies.
He'd be good.
Yep. There's so many. I mean, they should just make Destroyer monsters, all of them in a Monster Island, or Hollow Earth Island based. Hollow Earth's based on Monster Island.
Aye.
Just have them all there and actually have a massive fight there.
Just a massive monster, bro. I'd be happy with that.
I know. The thing is, next time they've got to trash Tokyo, though. They have to take to Tokyo at some point.
Why have they not went to Tokyo? I think the reason they went to Hong Kong is just for the Chinese market.
Well, I think they had to go to Asia. I think they would maybe there's a contract thing they've got with Toho saying you can't trash Tokyo because that's our area. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a contract thing. So they wanted to pay homage to it all, so they went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
All the people who made it were big fans of Mighty P. Kingman, who also trashed Hong Kong. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was a homage to that movie. I would like to think it is.
If they don't go to Hong Kong, they should go to...
They've been in Hong Kong already.
If they don't go to Japan, they should go to like maybe London or Paris.
I was thinking Paris, have someone impaled in the Eiffel Tower.
That would work.
Yeah, someone grabbing Big Ben and throwing it at something.
Yeah. Or recreate what we've seen in Final Wars, destroy Sydney.
Yeah, well, they did that in Pacific Rim though.
No, so they did.
But take down Moscow at some point.
Aye.
The thing is, they trashed so much of America in the second one, King of the Monsters. They trashed Washington so much. And that one is like the place still rebuilding that country. This one.
Go to Brazil and destroy that big statue of Jesus.
Like you'd probably find Kong being drunk and laying on top of it with a hangover. That was the thing they missed in from the original Kong vs Godzilla was Kong getting drunk. Kong was drunk in that movie.
He was drinking drugs.
Yeah, it was this stuff the teams made him, and he was just absolutely hammered. That's how they caught him, because he was so drunk.
Right. And he woke up on a boat and he's like, what the hell?
Not again.
How much do I have to drink?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think this was, it's going to be hard to top this one for the wonderful stupidity for a film this year. It's a really stupid film, but it's wonderfully stupid. It's like, it's thrown in the back to any other movie come along try to do this type of thing. I mean, usually the Fast and the Furious movie usually has it locked down for the fun, stupid movie of the year, but it's going to have his work cut out this year with this film, because this delivered exactly the film you wanted from the posters. Really,
It really did.
Just exactly what you wanted. So now Ian, so now your next one is Mortal Kombat, the one you're looking forward to.
Oh yes, can't wait for Mortal Kombat. Cannot wait.
I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan, so I'll watch it, but I'll probably going, why the hell am I watching this? Well, you'll be like, tell me everything they did wrong. That character should not be in here. No.
I thought you were a big fan of Annihilation.
We can I'll just refer to our video of the Mortal Kombat movies. You want to see me go slowly die. There's that video. I die a little bit every moment we talk about Annihilation. I think you do as well, though, to be fair.
That was the one we watched Super Mario as well.
And Double Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, even though you were joking about it, I think you loved Annihilation more than I did, because you knew.
I hate Annihilation.
I guess it was like, I was laughing how bad it was. You were like furious. You were like, "Arr."
Because the first one's so good.
The first one's not so good. The first one's stupid.
The first one's great.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
You're in a minority here.
No, I'm not. I think I'm a majority. I think a lot of people like the first one, know it's crap, but they'll enjoy it anyway. No one actually thinks it's good. It's a guilty pleasure movie for a lot of people. That's a difference.
Like Street Fighter, that's a great film.
Ouch. That's ouch. I'm waiting for you to defend the second Street Fighter.
I turned it off 10 minutes in. I've never seen it.
It's wonderfully awful. It gets worse.
No for me.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yep. As are you. I was trying to think, should I make that joke or not? It's a cheap one, but I couldn't resist. So, so we both agree that Kong won then, basically. Is that what we're saying?
Godzilla won.
Okay, I guess that's a good way to end this thing. I think we've kind of covered most of it. Thanks for coming along and discussing this. Hopefully we'll do these, face to face at some point, because I think we're missing the angle of one of them strangle the other one, which you only get when you're next to somebody. I mean, if we wanted to strangle each other, it would take about a minute or a few minutes to get to the other person's house. I'd have to drive to strangle you.
You would.
So it's like, we can't just say, we wait 2 minutes so I get in the car so I can drive down and strangle them.
I would be like, I'm just going to go lock the door.
Yeah. I'm leaving in a few minutes. Don't worry about it. Right. So, thanks a lot. We'll be back soon with Two Idiots, hopefully, whenever there's another film to talk about. And this was fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for having me on again.
Yep, no problem. And see you all later.
Bye.